Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance ANZ podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights to help you understand what metabolic balance is all about and what personalised nutrition really can do. So, I'm Cherry Wills, I'm your host, and today I am really delighted to welcome Jayden Paynter-Williams to join me. Jayden actually, you worked for me, didn't you, Jayden? So hello, Jayden. First of all, hello, Jayden.
Hello, everybody. And yes, I did work with you in putting this together, actually. So yeah, it was full circle.
Yeah, Jayden, you helped me get everything up and ready for the podcast.
Yes, I did. A little over 12 months ago now, and it's been going crazy ever since. And here I am on the podcast finally.
So, so this is just so much fun for me because, yeah. So just to fill everybody in, what's your business?
Yeah, so I own and operate a production company here in the Redlands that specializes in creating all of the marketing material for real estate. And that's what we do on our day-to-day basis. Yeah.
And we met in a networking group, and basically you kindly came together and you helped me put together my room, all the equipment, the mic, the camera, the lighting, all of that kind of stuff. And then you also did all of the editing of probably like the first 6 months, really, wasn't it? The first.
Yeah, definitely a good chunk of the first part of it, getting through all of all of the different bits and pieces, hoops we had to jump over, but we finally got it to a good point, and we were like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. And so you listened to all of the stories of metabolic balance.
I guess you could say I'm a podcast success story, right? Yeah, so yeah, it was constantly in my ear, week to week, hearing all these incredible stories about people with different kinds of, whether it be medical conditions that have helped them, that MD has helped them through to, weight loss, men and women. So it was just constantly in my ear, and it was something that, my health wasn't a priority for me at the time. But it was just in my head for quite some time until I decided to take some action and come and see you. Yeah.
I would like to say you're a very typical young man who works really hard, had pretty much kind of always eaten anything and everything kind of thing, and never really paid too much attention to your diet. Well, I mean, like you've done various fitness things and boot camps and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say you hit the nail right on the head there, Cherry. I think, like for me, food was more of a convenience thing and a necessary thing that I had to do for my body, because it felt bad if I didn't eat. And just never had a really good relationship with food. Like I've always loved good food, but I could never put in the effort to actually cook it for myself on a consistent basis. Like from time to time, I'd cook a nice meal here and there, but most of the time it was either eating out, getting like Uber Eats or, cooking a really unhealthy, quick, easy meal. Yeah, because we were so busy, my husband and I, we could never just find the time. And I believe now, we didn't have a value for, good, healthy food, because to us, that our first instinct was like, oh, how much effort would that, and like all of the rebuttals you'd naturally go to, that has soon changed. It's actually become easier than it was before, but yeah, no, it was just a real big. So yeah, my relationship with food was terrible before that. Like I would barely eat breakfast or lunch for that matter. I'd only really have dinner. I'd sustain myself on coffee throughout the day. I would get terrible stomach pains come the end of the day. I was losing weight at the time. I was like, yippee. But in the back of my head, I'm like, Jayden, it's probably a bad thing, the way that you're losing weight. It's probably not healthy. And that's sort of where it all started to, that's kind of where it all started. And shortly after spoke to you.
Yeah. So, as a sort of your general health, then, just probably at this time last year, if we even just go back, because I mean, like you've at high school, you started to also sort of the weight started to increase. Is that correct?
I'd say, yeah, high school was probably my best years when it came to my weight because I was doing sport, I was very active with my friends. After school, where the necessary need to go and exercise and everything was like up to you, I just went 150% career and work. And that was really like my focus. And yeah, my weight reflected that. I packed it on. I think at my biggest, I was 103 kilos, which was big to me. Like, and don't get me wrong, my job's very active, so being bigger makes my job harder.
Because you're filming real estate, basically, aren't you? So you're on your feet, you're moving around, you've got to get the different shots and angles and crouch down and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to be mobile.
100%. And even like from like a strength and like a sustainable like energy level is incredibly important. Like I hold this thing which is like that with my camera on it. It's like 10 kilos that I have to hold out in front of me. It's very the fatigue can grow up. And obviously that's both like a exercise thing, but also my energy levels. Like if I had a big day of shooting, like come the end of the day, I was like running on thin ice, but sort of had to perform, and it was just, yeah, it was really a bad time for me, and I felt that I couldn't do like that. There was so much I could do with the shots I was getting, like the way that I would be able to hold the camera so I didn't, put myself in pain or whatever, prevented me from actually getting a really awesome shot. So there was this battle of like I just kind of have to settle with what my body can do. And yeah, I'd say yeah, that was tough, but like I've always been a happy-go-lucky, optimistic guy, so I just made the best of a bad situation, but it was never good.
I know because you've done so much what you've done the work for me, but you're incredibly diligent and really do pride yourself and push yourself to get the best work for your clients. So then you're kind of compromising what you want to do because of how you're feeling.
Yeah, no, it was a real battle for me internally. I tried to sort of internalize a little bit, and like did the best with what I got, which at the end of the day the clients were happy and whatever. But again, like I have unrelenting standards for my work and high expectations, so I was letting myself down more than anyone else, I think. But yeah, I just felt like for the longest time after high school, I just thought I'd never get under 90 kilos. Like even he mentioned before, I did do personal training for 18 months and spent the better part of like a lot of money doing that. And I never got under 90. I was like, I guess this is just me. It's just my body. And during that time though, I didn't really eat well. I didn't get communicated that that was like I did, but I suppose I didn't get any guidance. Um, and yeah, so it just felt it kind of felt like this was my set of cards for life type thing, however dramatic. But yeah, I didn't quite realize how insanely incredible eating the right food uh, can be. It blew my mind when I started MB.
So you've been listening to other people's stories. So this is how it kind of also came about. You don't you already knew about MB when you started setting up the podcast for me because I told you about it. But then you're actually now listening to the stories, and then you come to me. I think you called me in September. I'm pretty sure it was around September. You said, "Right, Cherry, I think I want to do this."
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Paint the picture of how you were feeling and what really did trigger you to flick the switch, so to speak.
So the motivation behind the call was definitely I wanted there to be change. Our business at the moment is growing. I was really, really busy at the time, and coming into the new year was starting to book out. And I just felt that like I wasn't my best self. And I feel like for me to, again, here's our unrelenting standards again. I feel that, for me to like meet the bar or whatever, for, to perform my best and, be, be able to, grow with the business without it overwhelming me or, my body feeling it and burning out and all of that other stuff. I just felt like I needed to get my body into a good point, and there was no other option for me in my head that made the most sense than doing NB. Just from all the stories I'd heard, and like I knew going into it from the stories, like it's not by by any means is it a like a like an easy program or an easy transition. It is a real big lifestyle change. I wasn't sure how I was going to go with that, but I knew that going in, that like it wasn't just a just a simple thing, little easy diet. It was going to be a big change for me anyway to my whole lifestyle and relationship with food, because I didn't have any. But I was like, yeah, it's gonna be worth it. So yeah, I called you.
So, I mean, like, yeah, the lifestyle change really was that you were now starting to eat breakfast, drink water, and actually be preparing taking some time out to eat your lunch and prepare some dinner.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
And that's the norm for so many people, though. What you were doing before is so normal for the normal world that we live in, of fast takeout and not really paying any attention to what you're eating. Just, oh yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, and it was crazy how like easily I sort of caved into those sort of situations, because it's just there wasn't really any like you hear how bad it is for you, but you're like, I feel fine. I'm not dying eating it. Like it's okay. But like I didn't quite understand what it was doing to me, because I had incredible bad like gut problems and sort of things with my stomach, that I just lived with for the better part of like 8 years to this point. And I just thought it was just my lactose intolerance. And it's weird because I didn't have any dairy in my life and I was still feeling it. I was like, I don't know what it is. It must be the almond milk now. I was just putting it to anything else but the but the food, I think. And Yeah, no, I think like now that you mentioned that, like breaking for lunch, like personally, that was sounds so weird to have, to feel that like you can just work through lunch, but that half hour time, with 20 minutes of my time was just like I could be like editing right now, I could be doing this thing and getting the material to the client and making them happy, and it would just be like by the time I was finished that it was like 4 o'clock, and it's like, well, I can't eat lunch now. So I didn't have yeah, there was no value for it. Yeah, value to it.
And the other thing I remember is that you had a concern about your blood pressure.
Yes, yeah, yes. So last year, well, no, this will probably be 2 years ago now because it's 2025 now. I did, so my life insurance, AIA, they do like a yearly health checkup thing. And I went there with my best friend, and we went and did all the tests and stuff. And I sat down to get my cholesterol and my blood pressure taken. And they said, Jayden, you've got incredibly high cholesterol and your like blood pressure is like dangerous. I was like, oh dear, that's no good. And I can't remember what exactly they were. I'm not the best at that stuff. But it was at that point where I'm like, oh, okay. It was the first time medically that someone's like, hey, you know, something's not right.
And you were 26.
At the time, yeah, yeah, 26, 27.
And didn't they also not let you do the sports test because of the blood pressure?
So there was this like stress tests where you like stepped up and down like a crate for like 2 minutes so they could like measure your, I don't know what the hell they were measuring, but yeah, they said sorry, you have to sit out on that. And that was like oh my god, like it really made me feel like um like a contestant on The Biggest Loser. Like, like I don't know how else to put it, but it's just like, yeah, because of where you're at, Jayden, like we can't take the risk with you. I'm like, what risk? I was like, I had no idea, and yeah, it was at that point. But even then, like, even that news to me was like, oh, okay, guess I'll do something about that sooner or later. Yeah, yeah. It really wasn't until like I found my own journey to figuring out that why and that, that reason for me to make a change.
So leaping forward to what it was October last year, wasn't it? October, you start MB, you go and have your blood test, we get your plan sorted, present your plan to you, and you get going. So what happened?
After the plan was so yeah, the first week or two was rough. I have to tell you, I was in this mindset again of like, I'm so busy, I'm gonna have to like, prep everything, and like I like prepped like very similar food for like almost every meal that first week, and come Thursday I was like, this pardon my French. I'm like, I was like, oh my God. I had a breakdown in the car with Mario. I was like, this is so tough. And then the next week I was like, you know what? Stuff it. What's going to help me is I like eating fresh meals. So I'm going to carve time out of my day to cook my breakfast, lunch, and dinner each day. And that significantly improved my feelings toward the food, and I actually started enjoying it. And I found my few staples that I enjoyed. And in that first week or two, even just drinking more water made um, a lot of difference. And I want to say within like a week or two, my gut problems were just gone. Like I didn't, there was no, um, yeah, I didn't have bad feelings in the gut. I didn't get pain anymore. It was crazy. And then, yeah, I did recognize like quite a large drop in weight. I was like 93 at the time I started the program. And I think I saw you like 2 weeks later or something.
Yeah, I think it was 10 days. Yeah, it was slightly later than I normally do, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I'd already dropped a few kilos at that rate. I was like, good God. And I want to say like that amongst with like the energy levels made me feel like it's something I could commit to. And my husband at the time, he had a similar relationship with food to I did. So this big change in lifestyle that I was doing had a subtle influence on my darling husband. And he started to eat a little bit of the stuff that was on my program and eating, 3 meals a day. And um, so that was good. And yeah, like it was tough in its own way. Trying to obviously like going from a lifestyle where cooking with organic food was like a slither of what I used to do. It was really tough, like figuring out how to make that food taste good. I discovered spices, all these different things. So now we've just over this break, we've completely redesigned our kitchen to serve our metabolic balance lifestyle a lot better now. Bought all new knives. We have a beautiful spice rack. Got a herb garden outside. So yeah, it's like the lifestyle really has changed. Yeah.
I love that because I think it's really interesting as well when you like you've used a lot of words just to just it was tough, it was hard, it was it's challenging to make the changes. But actually, what you're talking about when you put it in perspective, it was a few days that led into maybe a couple of weeks where the realization is that actually you're feeling a hell of a lot better and you're actually enjoying that time to look after yourself. And then when you really put it in the perspective of how tough was it before to feel how you did with the pain and the gut symptoms that were kind of happening for 8 years?
Well, like, you know, when you put it like that, when you're used to a feeling, you just accept it, and you don't necessarily think, oh, this is such a feeling, because you're just going to go, this is just my body.
This is almost like, well, this happens. This is me. Yeah.
This is me, so I just kind of have to accept it. And I think like the parts that were tough was literally just that, that change of habit, the change of lifestyle, rediscovering new values for all of that. That was it was yeah, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Totally. Like as the weeks went on, it definitely made it a lot easier. And now, it's easy as hell. Like we went and spent New Year's Eve with my best friend and his wife, Murray, as well, and we brought over our own food to cook, and they cooked their meal, and we were finished cooking our dinner in 10 minutes, and they were like, is that it? I was like, I mean, we eat simple meals, I suppose. We're not, we'll get to the fun and whatever down the track, but we just went simple. And yeah, they're like, wow, that's so easy. I was like, well, it is really, once you know what you're doing.
Yeah. It's a skill set that once you've got the skills and you just go for it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now it's like really fun. Like our fridge is always full now of incredible food, whereas before it was a bit dreary, because half the time we just eat out. So it was, so now we can go to that fridge and it feels nice having a full fridge. I don't know, just there's something like it. There's this where we're at now, Marie and I feel very, very proud and happy, and we feel like we're doing a good thing for ourselves, being so young, and just setting ourselves up for success, and preventing health symptoms down the track. And yeah, it's nice. We really enjoy it now.
Because I hope we can share that Murray then got himself a plan at the end of November.
Yes. So like not soon after, a month or two, once I was on my program, Murray went on his.
Yeah. Murray didn't want to miss out, basically, did he?
Exactly. He was really curious as like what food he would have. And his goals for his stuff was completely different to me. Like I wanna lose weight. I mean, we both want to gain energy. I suppose that's similar. I want to lose weight. He wants to gain weight. So we're like, this is really curious how this is going to change. And Murray's plan is like the way that he's like working with you through it, is very different to mine. Like I think we share maybe like 3, 4 foods, from our like consistent stuff that we get, that we can both eat, which is nice. But Murray and I cook individually. Sometimes like he cooks his dinner, I cook my dinner. You'd think that would be frustrating, but I don't know. It's kind of it doesn't bother us in the skinniest, because we both kind of share, and it's all this fun little party we have in the kitchen for lunch and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also what I'm hearing is that you really got the mindset that you were going to make it work. You wanted this. You wanted it to be different.
Yes, yeah, there was no stepping back. And I think like, this is also, I suppose, a trait of like myself, is like when I commit to something, I want to, give it my all. And as in the moments in the beginning where I struggled with it, I pushed through, gained your guidance, asked, guidance from my friends and all of that stuff. And yeah, just sort of push it until a point where I found my comfort, and I found my version of MB that works for me. And Jayden, you don't have to follow it 110%, Jayden, because it'll drive you crazy, because you're not listening to other parts of your body that's just like, I can't do this. So yeah, we found our own version of it, and yeah, and it's working, and it's good, and we're happy, and yeah, feeling better than ever. I'm down to 80 kilos now from 93, and I haven't done an inch of exercise apart from work. And like, I do kind of exercise, I suppose, from work, but that's crazy. I'm an active person. I'm not in a chair every day, so I'm kind of moving in that, so I guess I am getting a little bit of exercise from that. But like, I'm not making an intentional effort to go and train. But that'll shortly change. We just had dinner with another darling friend of ours who just finished his degree in exercise science. He's incredibly interested in this, by the way. He was fascinated, and he's putting together like a workout plan for myself, for Kurt, for Murray, because now I feel like there was no part of my life previously where I felt like, "Oh, I can't wait to exercise." There was no part of my life just like, "Oh, I could think of nothing better to do than do that." But now I'm like, kind of want to move.
But that is exactly what MB does too, because we're triggering the right enzymes and the right genes to actually say, right now I want to move. It's definitely the FOXA2 gene. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it blew my mind. So like, I've never been in this spot where I'm so excited, because I just feel like this is the beginning of who I'm, like what my body is capable of looking, of being, of feeling, in a place where I didn't value that at all for the longest time. And 2025, here we come, baby.
So, because yeah, you shared earlier previously you hadn't been below 90 kilos since high school, or sort of since shortly after leaving high school. Yeah. That's what I remember. Every time you came in and we did all of our, the checks and the monitoring and the body CAT scans, every time you kept on going, "Oh my God, I just don't believe this."
I don't. And even now, I'm like, Cherry, you tell me that there's a 7 in front of my weight, I'm gonna faint. Like, I'm serious, because like, what the hell? It's just it was crazy, and like, I got so much anxiety going in. I'm like, because again, like, I'm like, I want to really commit to this, want to do the right thing. So
It's now trusting the process. So I'm going to do a little bit of coaching here again. It's trusting the process that your body will now look after you because you're looking after your body. It will. And that's what I truly believe and what I see all the time. We just got to look after ourselves. And then the real us can kind of really shine through without the mantle, the cocoon of inflammation and pain, which is really what is the vast majority of people in society have. They kind of have this cocoon of pain.
yeah. And for the first time in a long time, like, I can see what you're talking about now. Like, I can see what you're talking about, because it's like there was this version of myself that I had before. That's just like, this is what Jayden's capable of. This is what Jayden's capable of looking like. This is the shirt size that Jayden wears. Can't go below that. To now, it's just like, I really don't know. Like, where I feel like I'm just, getting there. And now when I'm working, I have gotten some incredible shots. Like, just last year, we wrapped one of the biggest projects of my career. Shot a $14.5 million home up in Tawantin. I spent a total of 20 hours shooting that property. And I was happy-go-lucky for all 20 of it. Whereas in the past, like, I can't. That would have been incredibly exhausting. Don't get me wrong. I was exhausted because of the sheer end of work, but like, I was capable of, you know, um, doing what I feel I needed to do for that property without letting my body tap out.
And you were super focused the whole time. That's the other thing I know you talk. It's that clarity of thought, being present, getting the shots that you need, getting into the positions you need to get into. That's what you're able to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like, yeah, and now it excites me. I'm looking at investing in some different camera movement gear to supplement the gimbal that is a little bit more physically exerting. And it's exciting thinking about those things rather than thinking of like support for what I had to use just because of my lifestyle. But even on that note, like clarity, and clear of mind and stuff, it would take me like a solid hour and a half to like wake up in the morning. Like I had a ritual sort of like to really be okay. I'm ready to kind of my brain's on now. Right now, it's like 5 minutes after I wake up, I feel clear, and even throughout the day, towards the late end of the afternoon, I'd drop in energy levels. Whereas now, for as long as I feel like I need to work, I can feel like I can work, whereas before I was like pushing it, and my body was feeling it. I'd burn out very easily.
And that's what I love. It delights me so much that you're now realizing your own ambitions and aspirations and creating this business and helping people so much better and easier, and you're able to do it. Nothing's holding you back, whereas before it was like your health was holding you back, but you kind of weren't really recognizing it was until you did recognize, and then you did something about it.
Yeah, I think like there was always something in my head, like knew that like I needed to get it better, but every option to me just felt so hard. Like Jayden, you need to go work out for two years. It's like really, because I feel like I'm exhausted every day, or I don't know. I just didn't have the right answer until I found MB. Yeah, I'm really glad that I found it.
Well, I'm just glad that you said yes. You basically said yes to it. You heard about it, you heard all the stories, and then you go, yes, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to do this for myself. And now look what's happened. That's the exciting thing for me. Yeah. So if anybody's also going to listening to this thinking, oh God, okay, I'm really relating to what Jayden's talking about here, what would you say to them?
I would say that it's a lot easier than what it seems. Cooking food isn't as hard as it seems. There is some very tasty, incredible ways to cook with organic food, um, and that there's nothing really to lose, apart from the investment you get when you first get it, I suppose. But there's just everything to gain. The education when I'm walking through Woolworths aisles or any produce aisles, or there's food on the bench at a dinner party I'm at, I can recognize that, oh, that's full of preservatives, oh, that's full of this, that's full of that. And, just that education by itself is limitless. And I just think for like within the first month, I felt 200% better. But that's just me. So, yeah, I wouldn't see a reason not to do it. And I think that it's it's something that's not just a diet. It's not just a fad I heard from a friend. It's working with an incredibly professional, knowledgeable nutritionist, that specializes in your individual nutrition. Before the program, we go through an incredible amount of discussions. There's forms. There's a lot of headway that you go through before you even get the plan. So if you're like, oh my God, I'm so afraid that I'm going to get sent fish and I hate fish. It's like, you can decide not to have fish. Personally, I decided not to have milk. And so there you do have a lot of choice and a lot of, control over what what you believe this works for you. But at the end of the day, you just work with someone like Cherry, or a practitioner in your area where, yeah, they just want to see the best from you, and the best for you, I should say. Even though you may not see it yourself, like me.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for that, because I think it's stepping up and just saying, yeah, I want things to be different, and I am going to make this effort for myself at the end of the day, because the learning any new skill I talk about often, looking after ourselves, is this skill that it's like it should become your new hobby that you just never ever give up on. I mean, like, you're already talking about how you've transformed your kitchen into being a place of really making it work, which it's what a kitchen should be. It is exciting.
Pull out my new knives and I can, my lovely new cutting boards, and oh, it's just, yeah, I feel like a grown up now.
But also your health moving forward, when you do, when you turn it, do go into your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all of this it's going to be different to what it would have been before. If you already had high blood pressure when you were 26 and are worrying about your cholesterol, you know, we've got a whole new. So I love it. I love it.
I'd love to know where they're at now because I haven't gotten it done since. So I'm curious.
So let's check. But I just want to say a massive thank you, Jayden, for coming on and just sharing. It's been a pleasure looking after you. It's been a pleasure working with you. I mean, like I'd certainly say that you're wonderful to work with on a professional level, helping me set up the podcast. So you're also should take a massive thanks for actually helping me get the message out there for metabolic balance.
You're very welcome, and yeah, thank you again, Cherry. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have recognized this as earlier as I did, and yeah, I wouldn't be as happy as I am now, moving into this incredibly exciting year for myself and my husband and everyone around me, and feeling like I can take it head on without the stress of burning out. It really does mean an incredible lot, and yeah, you're welcome. I think. I'm glad that, real stories are getting out of here instead of to the ears of others, because I think more people should know about it.
It's got to be real. That's the thing. It's real. We're not, yeah, really, yeah, awesome. Wonderful. And if anybody at home listening to this would like to learn more about metabolic balance, please do check out the website metabolicbalance.com.au. Or the show notes as well. There's info there. Reach out to your local practitioner. They will really be able to clarify how it can work for you. But yeah, a massive thank you again, Jayden. And we will see everybody next time.
Thanks, Jerry.